Be my luck at night, more I'm breaking than children. Awesome.
Hey, we're good to go now, Mr. Chair.
Okay, we've called the meeting to order. So, what is it, 1:58? We'll go to the approval of the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda, Dave Morrison.
Second by Judy Wilson-Shee.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Okay. The conflict of interests?
Yep.
No one? We'll move on to Director Morrison, Standing Committee.
This is, I think this is where I wanted to talk about the term of the directors and the committees. Right now we have it for 1 year, and I propose we move that up to 2 years. That's for all directors and all committee members. Seems to be 1 year, you just kind of get an idea which way the committee is going and how everything works. And then, you change that and possibly move on to a new committee to learn all about that one. So I think for 2 years, you'd have a lot better working committee. People would be more understanding and have a better idea of what's going on. So that's something I'd like to bring to the board through the governance committee.
Okay. Any comments on this?
I think he has a point. And I agree with that.
I agree with it too. Makes sense.
All right. I'm on board with it as well.
Yeah, do the other committees, are they all 1 year too?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, all of the committee appointments are for a year. And they've always been that way, and I don't think there's any reason behind it, other than when we started, we had a small number of committees, and it was possible to rotate directors through single terms of the day, through all committees, if they would have an overall understanding. The one thing that you might want to consider is that from time to time, a director may be unhappy with his or her committee appointment. And typically, they don't express that disappointment to the chair or vice chair, or actually make the appointments, but we hear it as staff. And one of the things that we have said in the past is, well, it's only for a year. So clearly it has merit to be a 2-year appointment to go through 2 business cycles. On the other hand, if you're on a committee that wasn't your first choice, maybe even any choice, that would be the one thing that I would suggest you might consider before making that recommendation to the board. If you're all of a similar mind today, staff will simply work that into the template that we have for changes, and it'll flow through to the board at the annual general meeting, along with the other changes to the bylaw.
Yeah, Don's made some good points too, because if you just stay on for 2 years and then you're on, you might not get to see all the committees. Like, it's a 1-year term. You can get on all the committees before your 4 years up. So there's some pros and cons there. But we can take it to the board and let them see what they say. But
Would there be any? Sorry, would there be any way that you could be appointed to the same committee again, or?
That has happened in the past, yes. A good example would be Director Mowry, who has a specific skill set in regards to audit, where he has had professional audit training, and he served on the board of the New Brunswick New Brunswick Credit Unions is specifically in an audit function. He has pretty much been on audit every year. Some years as chair, some years as not. And other people have been appointed in successive years, but not really as a matter of any particular strategy that I recall.
My comment would be on that too, that if somebody's on a committee they don't really want to be on, then they're not going to serve anybody by being on that particular committee. So I would sooner have somebody on a committee that's interested in being on a committee than have somebody that's not interested in being on a committee, because then they're just taking up space and not really doing themselves any favors or anybody else any favors.
That's a good point too.
Okay, where should we go from here then?
You should express a preference, then staff will, I think it's fair to say the preference of the committee members here today is to, recommend a 2-year term for committees as opposed to 1 year. Didn't hear any strong objection to that. What would happen as a result of it is Kelly and I will work that into the template. The justification will be, we'll show where it was a year, recommend change to 2 years. The rationale will be to provide directors with more opportunity to become familiar with their committee assignments. And that recommendation will be made to the board and they'll vote on it.
Okay, so do we need a motion for that, or?
I don't think so. I mean,
Okay.
I any contrary opinion.
Okay. Everybody's in favor with this, or?
Yes.
Well, as long as people get on a committee and they're happy there, they don't want to be stuck in a committee for 2 years if they're not happy.
Hmm,
Then they should just resign from the committee. Nobody's holding a gun to their head to be on the committee. Like I said, if they don't want to be there, that's not really a good place for them.
Well, because we always put our names on what committees we want, and then they wiggle it around, and then after a year, they switch around. And I've been on all of them, but I've been here 12 years, so.
So, Director Wilson Shee has probably the most experience making those elections, where the chair and vice chair decide. It's not always possible to put people on committees that they want to be on. Committees are in our bylaw, they have a specific number of members. Some of our committees, like economic development, community development, have counselors on them in addition to directors. And I guess depending on what's popular at the time, there could be a large demand for one committee as compared to others. In the early years, it was finance. Everybody wanted to be on finance, but we could only put 5 people on finance. So, and I know that the chair and vice chair, when they sit down to make these assignments, they identify and put as many people on the committees as on their preferences as they can. But I've never seen a case where somebody didn't get what they wanted, more than one person. Do you agree with that, Director Wilson-Shee?
I do, and I'm on the feeling that yes, they put their name forward for different committees and the chair and vice chair work really hard. But I'm on the strong opinion that whatever committee they're put on, they should go to that committee and give it 110%, whether they want to be on it or not. That's just my feeling. That, I mean, we try our best to put them where they're suited, but when we can't, they go on a committee and they should be, they should give that committee 110%. That's the way I feel.
okay, sounds like we have a majority of what's here is all for this, so.
We'll make those changes.
Okay. Great.
Now, do we have to go to the board for that, or?
It'll go in the bylaw review package in April. So there are
Then they would vote on.
there are other changes you know, this is the year we're gonna change the name from RSC 11 to Capital Region Service Commission, Executive Director to Chief Executive Officer, and there are other changes that we went through in the fall with the committee. None of them really substantive. This will be the most substantive change in the package.
Okay. So we just need a motion to adjourn?
Right.
Anything
So
else we
moved.
needed to do? Okay. We're
Did
good.
you move that?
I did, so moved.
Okay, I second it.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
That's it.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Enjoy the sunshine.
I waited 2 hours.
And David, you got bonus points because you started a few minutes before. That's great. Good.
I got
Good.
every word
Everybody on
well.
time. It's important. to be
All
on
right.
time.
See you,
Okay.
everybody.
See everybody tomorrow night.
everyone.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, tomorrow night, 5 o'clock.